Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Sitar Gurukul. So, we've been getting a lot of response from you, which is always a pleasure. Uh, I'm guessing that you really like the last two episodes. And why wouldn't you like it? Because it's an amazing rhythmic pattern that we've been showing you. Great legendary sitar players of Imdad Khani Gharana have played this, and which is exactly why we follow, because they have played this simple thing so magnificently that we can't help but to try it ourselves. Now, on the last two episodes, we have shown this specific rhythm. Loads can be done to this, but we are going to go for a simpler approach so we can do the more difficult approach later on. So, in today, I'm going to show you three such patterns, three such variations. And as we already know that we are playing the sequence four times, and I'm going to tell you again why we're playing it four times. We're playing it four times because teentaal has four packets of fours or four divisions of fours. So our sequence that we are playing, so that occupies one beat. So four of these is going to occupy four beats. So that's four beats out of the way for teentaal. So if you play 12 more beats like this, you're going to occupy one entire cycle of teentaal, and that's exactly what we want. So in today's lesson, I'm going to show you three different variations, and on the fourth one, we are going to leave for the next class because that's going to be your tihai for the first sequence. So always remember, when you're going to set like a new rhythmic pattern or introducing any pattern, it's very important that you don't give off your best stuff right away. Instead, make the audience wait, get them ready, and have like build a slow and steady, a special place for your new rhythmic pattern. So it's slow and steady introduction is always the way to go. So the first pattern is going to be the same that we have learned in the last two classes, the chida, chisa, chisa, sa, or we could also call it chida, chidada. But instead of four, we're going to play three. And on the fourth cycle, we are going to introduce the next thing that we are going to play. So on the first cycle, we're emphasizing on sa. On the second cycle, we're going to emphasize on ni. Third cycle, we're going to emphasize on dha and re. And the last cycle, we're going to spend with the tihai. So that gives you four cycles, which means you're going to be able to occupy an entire teentaal vilambit cycle. So let's get into it right away. First, three cycles of chida, chidada on sa. So 1, 2, 3. And on the fourth cycle, we are going to play a ni instead. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. We're going to pause right there. Let's recap on what we did. This time, perhaps a little bit slower. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. One more thing that's going to help you count. Notice that naturally you're going to start counting from the first da that you're going to play. Instead, since we're going offbeat, I'm going to explain what offbeat is later. But for now, you need to know that we're going to start the counting from the chikari instead. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now, what is this interesting thing that I keep on doing here? This is something called a krintan. So krintan is very popular on the other most popular kind of sitar, which I mean the infamous Pandit Ravi Shankar sitar, or the Karaj Pancham sitar that we are all aware of, like the one I'm playing here right now, even though I play Imdad Khani Gharana sitar. But right now I'm playing a Karaj Pancham. I love both personally. So in this case, what we're going to do is this krintan it's a technique. So in shorter words, if you want the krintan to happen in sa, then you want the middle finger to be on re and with a firm grip, and then a few people do it with their nails, which is gonna sound a little sharper. But it's also a little risky if you don't know what you're doing. And then there are other people who are going to have like a really strong callus on their middle finger, and then they're going to use it to pull on the string just a little bit and then let it go. So it's going to catapult and create this extra vibration that you're going to use musically. So we are going to go for the latter way, the second way. So I'm doing it with my skin, and it's going to feel a little unusual on the at the very beginning, but you're going to grow into it later. So 1, 2, 3, and then the same thing, instead of sa, you're going to play on chi, mi, 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 mi. So chi, mi, mi, chi, mi, re, sa, chi, mi, re, sa. So notice I'm not changing the stroking pattern. The stroking pattern is exactly the same. It's just that I'm changing the notes. So the part where you have two das, 1, 2, that's the part that you're going to target. And within those two strokes, the first stroke is going to be occupied by ni. The second stroke is going to be occupied by a krinton on sa, which is going to originate from re. So, but 2 strokes. So it's gonna sound like 3, but there are only 2 strokes. So one more time. 2, 3, and on the third cycle, it's time to introduce the new one, which is dha, ni, re, re, sa, sa. So one more time from the bottom. One more time, just counting with me. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I hope that wasn't too difficult. If it seems too difficult, trust me, it's just going to sound difficult today. Tomorrow or the day after, or within just 3-4 days, it's going to be as easy as cake. But it's very easy to confuse this. So what I would suggest is, before doing anything wrong, because that's going to be really difficult to unlearn and relearn something else, I would suggest that when you sit with the sitar, you replay this video over and over again, and then you finally understand. It's kind of like a tongue twister. It's not very difficult. It's just the accents are a little weird in comparison to what we have already learned in the channel for the last 60 episodes. So that's it for today. In the next class, we are going to show you the tihai of this first cycle, and we are also going to play it along the tabla, and we are going to find out how that sounds. But before that can happen, you need to pretty much memorize this and install it in your muscle memory and be able to play it seamlessly. Once you do that, then it's going to be much easier to get it set with the tabla, because you have one less thing to worry about, which is if you're going to play it wrong. So with that said, see you again on the next class where we set this with the rhythm. Till then, take care, bye bye, and happy Riyas.